Hi, can someone please explain how the G7 can be the 5 chord in the key of C minor?
That's a great question. So in the key of C minor, we have those notes. We have C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat. If we pick the 5th chord, the one that starts from G, we would have as notes G, B flat, and D. So G, B flat, and D. So the 5th chord in C minor would be this chord here that is G minor. And if we want to put a 7th note in it, we just pick another note here. We just go jumping every other note like we normally do for chords, and we pick the F, and G, B flat, D, F, it's a G minor 7th. So the question is, why sometimes, rather than using G minor, we use G7 in the minor scale? That is because we don't have only one minor scale. Indeed, we have 3 minor scales. This is a natural minor scale. We have also the harmonic minor and the melodic minor. How the name says, the harmonic minor is a scale specifically studied so that we can take chords from it. Why? Because when you take chords from the harmonic minor, they sound a bit more dramatic, as we're going to see in a moment. So, the C harmonic minor scale, it's the same as this one for the first 6 notes. So C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat. And in the last note, we don't use a B flat, we use a natural B. Now, if I take my 5th chord from this other scale, I have the notes G, B, D, F. G, B, D, F, that's a G7. Again, the only difference is this last note here, which is the 3rd note in the chord. So it's the last note of the scale, but it's the 3rd note in the chord, okay, the 3rd of the chord, okay, and this note makes all the difference. Why we do that? Because if we think about the next note, which is C, B flat to C, it's 2 half steps. B to C, it's 1 half step. This note here, this last note here, when it's closer to the tonic of the key, the note that gives the name to this C scale, sounds more dramatic, sounds more dissonant, and in a sense it wants to resolve from this B note to this C note. So when you go from your G7th chord into a C chord, okay, you have the B note inside here, you have the C note inside here, and this kind of movement, this kind of feeling of hearing the B note here and the C note here sounds more dramatic, more punchy, and in classical music, people like this better. So the idea is that in classical music, for instance, you will take the chords from the harmonic minor scale, okay, and you will take the melodies from the natural minor scale and from the melodic minor scale, which is another scale. Today, you can pick, you can decide to take the chords from here or from here. So, G7 may be the 5th chord of C minor, but also G minor 7th can be the 5th chord of C minor, and you decide which one sounds best for the music you want to make and for your song.
Great lesson. Is there any way of making a diminished chord the tonal center, or are they just too ambiguous?
Okay, so the question here is, can we make a diminished chord a tonal center, which means can we make this chord the tonic of a scale and make feel like the diminished chord is the most important chord? If you are in the key of C major, for instance, the most important chord is C major, and you can hear it because typically the song starts there and ends there, and that chord seems to be the most stable of chords, the one where everything returns. Can we make a diminished chord that? The diminished chord is already very dissonant. It's, I'm not saying I am 100% sure that there is not a chance in hell that you cannot make the diminished chord be the tonal center. But if you were to do that, you'll have to try about it pretty hard. You'll have to at least hold the diminished chord for a long time, maybe play the root of the diminished chord continuously throughout your piece of music, and then all the other chords should be more dissonant than the diminished chord, then you can maybe trick your brain to think that the diminished chord is the tonal center.
Why connect Dorian to a parent key? Can't it exist in isolation?
Actually, Dorian does exist in isolation. You see, let's say we have A Dorian, okay? A Dorian is A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And if you don't know anything about that, I have a video on how to make sense of modes on this channel. Now, some people look at these and they're thinking, oh, those are the same notes as the G major scale, okay? So they start writing things like A Dorian is like G major, but starting on the second note of G major, which would be A. Those two, it's true that those two scales, or those two keys, however you want to call them, it's true that those two have the exact same notes. But they are not the same thing, because a key and a scale is more than just the sum of all their notes. It's more than just a set. What makes a scale, what makes a key is that we choose which one is the root. Here the root is G, here the root is A. And this makes us write music in a completely different way, because here we feature G as the most important pitch in our music, and here we feature A as the most important pitch in our music. So for instance, a piece in G major will have a lot of G major chords, and a piece in A Dorian will have a lot of A minor chords instead, rather than having G major chord. And that would be a sonic difference that distinguish between those two. Now, some players, and this typically happens to specific schools of jazz players, for instance, simply because they are the one that work more. They're the one that work more with modes. Okay, they just tell you that A Dorian and G major are the exact same thing, and so essentially, when you want to play in A Dorian, just play G major. That's not really good advice in general, because again, the meaning of all the notes is different. The G is the first note here, but it's the seventh note here. The A is the second note here, but it's the first note here. A Dorian should be taught as separated from G major, and then it also happens to have the same notes, but it doesn't really come from G major. A Dorian is an independent entity, okay, that can stand on its own.
Didn't understand anything.
If you did not understand anything, or if I keep saying things and you cannot attach any meaning to what I'm saying, it means that there are some notions of music theory that you don't know yet in order to understand what I am doing, which is great. There is no problem. I would recommend you click on the channel name under this video, Music Theory for Guitar, and when you get on the channel page, you click on playlists, and then you watch the playlist called Theory from Zero. Okay, and I want you to watch all that playlist, since it explains all the little details, all the things that books don't say, all the things that are passed under silence when people explain music theory, like I do, because we cannot always start from scratch. We need to also go ahead sometimes. So everything that is given as understood in music theory, it's explained in those videos, in that playlist, Theory from Zero. So if you did not understand anything, if you have any problem understanding this video, go straight and watch that playlist and then come back here.
Are you an engineer?
Whoa! Easy there, easy there. No, I'm not an engineer. Much worse than that, actually. I am a theoretical physicist. I actually have a PhD in theoretical physics. And I actually spent part of my career being a postdoctoral fellow and researching ecological system and physics applied to ecological systems. I mean, I don't know why you guys care so much about my past. I'm flattered, but I don't think I am that interesting. I think you guys were more interested in music theory, but this question, it's very common. Anyway, if you go on my website, musictheoryforguitar.com, and you search about, there is a short bio about me. So if you really want to know all the details, if you want to read my publication, some people actually want to read all the scientific article I published, go there. There's a link to all of that.